Welcome back to my channel. This is Handmade in the South, and I have a fiber arts company called CrewFiberArts, and you can find me on Etsy. I am going through and I'm helping, I guess, mainly I'm making these videos for where we're starting a fiber arts club at my school. And so I'm mainly making these little short tutorials for my students, but so many teachers and so many friends have asked, hey, could you teach me how to do this? And I would love to. So I'm doing this for my friends as well, and my fellow coworkers that wanted to learn how to knit. So the first thing you're going to do whenever you're casting on, you need to pick which cast on best suits you. I prefer the long tail cast on, so that's what I am doing right now. I'm casting on to create enough stitches to get my pattern. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and do the seed stitch. This one I have memorized because it's super simple. You knit the knits, or you knit the purls and you purl the knit. So you do every other. And then I'm gonna do the rib stitch. So I guess I should do the rib stitch first. I take it back. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to do the rib stitch, because normally the rib stitch is on the end of your work. It's like the sleeves if you're creating like a cardigan or a sweater, and then the bottom, kind of pulling it in, it makes it really kind of stretchy. So I lost count. I don't know what I'm counting. I'm gonna try to do 15. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, and then 5. So that's 15. I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to do cast on a few more. So I'm going to do 5 more. So 1, 2, 3. I'm making it tight. 4. All right. And this yarn I got at Hobby Lobby. I always like to, and a lot of my yarn I do get at Hobby Lobby just because it's close to my house. This is blush, and if you want to, you can go back and watch my hauls. Blush, I don't know. I really like the blush color. It seems like everybody does, but this is the information. It's acrylic, and it has this 15% hemp, which I normally don't buy a lot of acrylic yarn, but because it has that 50% hemp, it made me curious. So that's why I purchased this. And anyway, so this is all the information about the yarn that I am using. Let me see. And yeah, size 7 knitting needles is what it calls for. And I am using US size 10. So mine are bigger. I'm totally fine with it. I feel like it will knit up just fine. Also, these are my Prim needles. Knitting needles. I do have the Knitter's Pride ones, but I feel like if you're a beginner, you might want to go ahead and get the Prim, because you're less likely to slip off the needle because of the little bump on the end. And it may slow down your work just a little bit, but to be honest, when you're first learning something, you don't want your work to slip off the needle. And that's what I've noticed with a lot of my students, that when we have some bamboo ones at the school, they're not as slippery as the plastic needles, but they still slip off. And I just really like the Prim for new knitters. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create a rib stitch. And so I'm going to go ahead and knit and purl every other stitch. So that's the pattern that I'm going to go through: knit, then purl. And then I'm going to do that all the way across, okay? So the very first row, knit the first stitch, purl the second, and then repeat that pattern throughout. So I'm going to knit, and then I'm going to purl. If this is your first time coming to this channel, if you don't know how to knit at all, I would go back and review, maybe look at some of the previous videos that I have for knitting and purling and casting on. So there's my knit stitch, my purl stitch, knit, purl, knit, okay? And now I'm going to purl the next stitch. And you can skip too if you're like, oh, I've got this. Or if you just want to hang out and watch me do this, you can. But I'm just going to keep going, knitting and purling every other stitch. Okay, following that same pattern until I get to the end. And what we are creating is like I said, the rib stitch. And the first thing you need to learn how to do is knit. The second thing is purl. And purling, some people they just hate on purling. I think if you get comfortable with it and you do it for a little while, you'll get better at it. But it's like that. It's nobody's favorite stitch. Like everyone just kind of, they don't say it out loud, but they're thinking in their head. They're like, oh, it's just a little fiddly whenever you are working with the purl stitch. If you are a crocheter and you're coming to my channel, you know that you already keep your yarn over here. So this transition to continental knitting is going to be super simple for you. If you are a knitter at first, you know that you're wrapping that yarn around. Some of you, I think it's called English style. And some of you are like super fast with it. I think there's one lady that I've watched and I love her channel. I think it's like Pink something. I can't remember. She does a lot of videos, but her finger is like a sewing machine. Like she just kind of, I don't know, she goes like this with her yarn. It's crazy. And it's not just crazy. It's amazing that she can do that. I shouldn't have said crazy. That doesn't sound good. Okay, I had to go help my daughter. She had to get some more rice to eat. We're eating lunch and it is in the summertime right now. So everybody is off and we are enjoying our summer. I hope you are too. All right. So okay, so now you finished this row, you've knit, purled, and you can kind of see what's happening. The V's, hopefully there goes the V shape. That's your knit stitch, and this is your purl stitch. Now, what new knitters don't realize is that whenever you flip your work over, it's a purl stitch actually turns into, on the other side is a knit stitch. So it's like the inverse of it. Of a knit. So this looks really great. We're gonna do the seed stitch after I do the ribbing. So we're gonna do ribbing first, okay? So and they're very similar. So maybe I'll shoot 2 different videos. Yeah, I'll probably just do ribbing right now, and then I'll do a separate seed stitch one. Okay, so we have finished this row. We are happy. We're going to turn our work over. And like I said, all those stitches are the inverse. So you'll see this is a purl, but on the other side it's a knit stitch and it's kind of hanging there, but that's what it is. So the foundation of knitting is purls and knit stitches, okay? And the purls have this like little bump. I guess that's why they call it purl. And then the knit stitch is like this V shape. Okay, so when you're creating ribbing, you want to purl the purl stitches and knit the knit stitches, and it will create that nice rib look. Okay, so this is a purl, so I'm going to purl it. And this is a knit stitch, so I'm going to knit it. So I'm going to purl. And oh, that looked messy. I guess I went through the yarn. I'm not going to redo it. Maybe it's because of the hemp. There's a knit. See that V shape? So I'm going to knit that stitch. Okay. All right. So one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about as I go through this. So once you get it, you can keep going, or you can, skip past this portion if you've got it. And you can skip to a later part of the video if you want to, or you can just hang out. I'm going to finish this row and kind of continue on. And while I do that, I'm going to show you, I'm just going to keep kind of stopping and showing you there's the purl bump, and so on. There's a knit, so I'm going to knit that one. Gosh, this feels so good to do some ribbing. I haven't done ribbing in such a long time. Okay, so why would you want to learn the rib stitch? Okay, so the rib stitch is used for like around the neck of your sweater or cardigans, and around the sleeves if you want them to be like tighter around your wrists, and around the waistband. So I've used ribbing before on like little dresses for my daughters, and where I've made it so it's in the middle and it kind of brings in the waist. So I have used it in different locations before, but okay, so you can kind of see, I'm going to scoot it. You can kind of see what's going on now. Like honestly, whenever you create ribbing, the purl stitches end up like hiding behind your knit stitches, but they are there. They're in between them. So you can see that nice ribbing starting. My hands are shaking. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. So let's continue. You knit the knits and purl the pearls. That's right. That's all you do, back and forth. Like I said, if you've got it, you can go on and you can leave me if you want to. Goodbye to you and just practice it, or you can hang out. I'm going to finish this until I get bored, and then I'm going to switch over to a different video that I wanted to record. So I'm going to knit the knits and I'm going to purl the pearls. And if you are done with me, please like and subscribe my channel. If you're going to hang out, still do the same thing. Like and subscribe, okay? The more you like and subscribe and ring that bell, the more likely I'm going to record more videos and post them to the public like this. So, all right, I'm going to keep going. And you know what? I might go fast or I might go slow, okay? To everyone, it's a different perspective. So I feel like if I had my Knitter's Pride knitting needles, I'd be going a little bit quicker. But like I said, these Prim needles, they don't glide as well, but they are so nice for new knitters. So I would just, and they're not really that expensive either. I got 2 of them. I got these at a local yarn shop called Yarn and Y'all. So if you are watching this and you live in my area, you know Yarn and Y'all. Go up there and get some Prim knitting needles. I mean, when I bought them, they were under, I think they were like $12, if that. So they were absolutely, they've been great. They have been great. And the lady even let me try some of hers. She was so sweet. Okay, so here we go. And you can always tell when you make a mistake because sometimes I by accidentally purl a knit stitch and it makes the whole work look funky. And you're like, oh my gosh, what is that? That doesn't look right. So the difference between what I noticed, the difference between knitting and purling, so I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to purl the purl stitches and knit the knit stitches again. Okay, so what I was about to say, the difference between, if you are a crocheter, the difference, and you can correct me if you want to, but this is what I've noticed, is that if you make a mistake with crochet, it's super easy. Just pull it out. I mean, it's not easy. It's heartbreaking every time you have to pull out your work because you made a mistake. But it seems like it's easier to me. I'm like, oh, I made a mistake in this last row. I'm going to pull it out. Super simple. Just yank it out. With knitting, it is like nerve-wracking. And so in the next couple of videos, I'm going to show you how to frog. And frogging is knitting backwards. And that's to go back to your mistake. Also, I'm going to show you a lifeline. So these are 2 things that you need to learn as a new knitter or as any type of knitter. You need to learn how to put in a lifeline. You need to learn how to frog. Okay, so that you can fix any mistakes, because are mistakes going to happen? Yeah, they're totally going to happen. Is it okay? Yeah, it's totally fine. So I'm going to keep going. So remember, I'm knitting the knits and purling the pearls, and you'll get in a rhythm. Hopefully, if you are like me, I get in a rhythm. I'm like, I don't even have to think about it anymore. I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't have to look at my work. I can just do it. Okay, so it is going. And it looks like what's on the sleeve of a sweater. And that's exactly what you should have. Like I said, I'm going to keep going with this. I also want to do a tutorial on the magic ring. So I'm keep going, guys. I'm just going to keep going. Not magic ring. That's crochet. Magic loop method. That is so awesome. And it's so weird because, so I'm going to put up a video called Magic Loop for knitting. It is like crazy how it works. I mean, I know why it works, but I'm always amazed when I'm done. And that sounds so silly. Anyways, I have to record this later. But Magic Loop, and you can look it up. If you're not liking my videos or anything, but you hear something that I've mentioned, you can go search it and find somebody else. Okay, I'm not going to be hurt. You can go find somebody else. Just look for Magic Loop. And I learned through Shandy from, I think it's called like CrewFiberArts. She is my girl. I've never met her in real life. I'm going to act like I have, okay? But I have not. I've not met her. But she is awesome. And I feel like every time I watch one of her tutorials, she's like my friend, which sounds so silly, but it does. Like, I'm like, my husband will come in and he'll be like, Oh, is this Shandy? So, Shandy, if you're watching this video, could you please like and subscribe to my channel? Because that would be really cool. I'm like a secret fan, I guess. But share videos. She's taught me a lot of my like specialty knitting techniques. So like magic loop is how I learned from her. And then a couple of other things like when she's teaching you how to do some of the basics. So anyways, here is the rib stitch. And I guess that's it, you guys. I'm done with the rib stitch. Go ahead and like and subscribe. I'm going to record a few more little tutorials. I'm going to stop this one and I'm going to pick up into seed stitch. But I want to leave this. It's so fluffy. And you know what? I am really glad I got this rustic romantic. It is really nice. Really nice yarn. Even with the hemp in it. Actually, I was kind of hoping it would be rough so that I could use it for like something else, but I don't know. You could totally make a garment and wear this. It feels so nice. And I bet you as soon as I put it in the washer, it's going to be like really fluffy because that's what some acrylics, most acrylics I've noticed, they change like once you wash them. They're like softer. But I'm into the soft like during the knitting. Like I want to feel it soft during. All right, like, subscribe. Thanks for coming to my channel. I really have enjoyed doing these videos, so let me know. Give me comments. I love some comments. I will absolutely comment back. All right, see you later. Have a wonderful day and enjoy your knitting experience.